Bret, what stands out for you in this indictment? Because there's a sense that they really have something to challenge. The president's defense team's got a lot to challenge on.
Yeah, and you played the soundbite from John Lauro, who we had on right after Special Counsel Jack Smith came out during Special Report Hour, and he made the case that their defense is, one, that this is criminalizing political speech, and two, they have to get to the fact that the former president now, the president then, truly didn't believe that the election was stolen. That is a tough thing, according to the defense and the critics of this, to get to. It's big and sweeping. There's a lot in here. There's a lot. You can see Vice President Pence's testimony to the special counsel, perhaps Mark Meadows and others who were in the room. But most legal experts, even on both sides of the aisle, say it may be a tall task to get a court to go all the way down where this indictment tries to get them to go.
Yeah, I mean, many are asking, why 2.5 years later? If there was a problem, why didn't they throw these charges at him 2.5 years ago, or 2 years ago even, Bret?
Yeah, I think, listen, one of the things is the judge in this case, as you talked about her, Judge Chutkan in D.C., appointed by President Obama in 2014, nominated by him. She made the decision for the January 6th committee to get access to White House files and to have access to everything that they had access to. That decision enabled what is in this indictment. She's also been very, very tough on the sentencing of January 6th rioters. So it's going to be tough with that judge. And as far as why now, I think that there are some people looking at it saying, I wonder if this is, there's not all there yet. You mentioned the 6 co-conspirators. Is there the possibility that they're holding out an olive branch, that they may cooperate further, and there would be a superseding indictment after this that includes perhaps linkage to the rioters themselves? That is not in here, and it's noticeably absent.
It is indeed. All right. Meanwhile, we've already heard from some defenders of the former president that there's 2 tiers of justice in this country. If your last name is Biden, you're off the hook. If your name is Trump, you're in big trouble. The House Judiciary Committee says don't let Joe Biden's DOJ distract you from the Hunter Biden probes. And there's a juicy tidbit, apparently, Bret, that's out there where in an email, Hunter Biden told Devin Archer that a Chinese businessman loves the fact that his last name was Biden. So as you look at, you've got the collision of these 2 cases. And there are a lot of people who are hanging on what this judge does down in Delaware, whether or not she's going to go ahead with whatever the lawyers are able to work out, or if Hunter Biden's plea deal could actually be derailed.
Yeah, and the fact that the U.S. attorney down there says that the plea deal can be released it suggests that we are just at the tip of the iceberg of some of this on this Hunter Biden investigation. The House Oversight Committee, Chairman Comer, they're not letting up. The question is whether they can find the money and the direct linkage, but clearly the case changed this week with the testimony of Archer. I will say the House Speaker put out this statement about the indictment for the former president, and it dealt almost exclusively with Hunter Biden. A lot of the statements from Republicans were about 2-tier justice, as you mentioned, but noticeably Vice President Pence said a person who puts himself above the Constitution should never be president again. And that was his statement. So expect this to be a part of the campaign trail in one way or another. Will it help the former president? It may in the GOP primary.
Right. I just want to go back to your original point. The indictment's not fully done, in just layman's terms. Just like the Mar-a-Lago investigation and the indictment wasn't fully finished. They added an addendum to it. And for those people out there, and there's a lot of people out there who said this timing is impossible to ignore. Hunter, by sensational headline, in comes some indictment on Trump. Something hard to explain about Joe Biden, in comes indictment on Trump. It's almost as if they're leaving another shoe to drop just in case more Hunter stuff comes up.
I mean, that's a speculation, but listen, you look at the timeline of what has happened and how it's happened, clearly Republicans are going to make that case. And, you know, I think that that's really possible. If you listen to Andy McCarthy and Jonathan Turley, they just looked at this and said, where's the the additional there in this indictment? And perhaps it's yet to come.
Hang on. More to come tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time with the Special Report program. Bret, thank you very much for putting on a necktie today. I know you're probably wearing tennis shorts.
Golf pants.
We don't know.
He has fun golf pants.
Yeah, he's got plenty.
Follow him on Instagram.
We'll never know, though, because he will not reveal.
On Instagram, I see them all the time.
No, but he won't tell us what he's wearing now.
Oh.
Am I right?
No, I won't. No, I won't.
I didn't think so.
And you should. All right, Bret, thank you very much. I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.